Thank you, Ruth. Thank you for that. Thank you for the insights and your findings, which are as pertinent as they are powerful, honestly, because there's just a lot of learning that's gone into, a lot of research that's gone into the learnings that you've found out. I would like to call both you and Toby back, in a sense, bring you back to the room for a virtual Q&A session, and perhaps to also share some ideas and examples of good practice. And there's a question actually from Sarah, which I'm going to read out. It's to Toby, but I think it applies equally to you, Ruth, as well. And that question is, what skills were needed to engage with the elders? Were they skills you and the team already had, or did you need to develop them? And if you had to develop them, how? So I'll start with you, Toby.
I think to engage with elders, and like I said, I'm not an Aboriginal person or Torres Strait Islander. I think that if you look at the way a lot of communities work, it's very much built on respect, relationships, and trust. So I don't know if they're necessarily skills, but they're definitely traits. And you need to be able to go in and build respectful relationships that ultimately drive trust. And don't expect them to happen overnight. Relationships in an Indigenous setting are not transactional, but they are built on trust. And that often does take quite a lot of time to overcome, because there has been over 200 years of mistreatment of First Nations people by mainstream providers and systems. So I think if you, like I said in the presentation, if you, inaction is damaging. I 100% believe inaction is damaging, and we all need to do something to move and shift that dial in the right direction. And if you're fearful, just go in, ask questions. What could I do better? How should I be doing this? Are you able to assist? And it might mean that you have to do, unfortunately, we're driving KPIs in a lot of organisations, and we're here in quarter one, here by quarter two. You might actually have to do a bit of a sidestep and go on a journey with the elders and with the community to get that trust built up, which will ultimately fast track you down there. So be prepared to step outside of your conventional way. Be prepared to slow down and build those relationships. And be dogged in your commitment to a goal and allowing the community or the elders to shape how that goal is brought to life.
Thank you. Ruth, did you want to add to that at all, please?
Toby said it all so beautifully. I've really appreciated, especially as someone who has so much kind of care and respect and thought about your own positioning. And I guess I wanted to pick up on that really, because I think you've said the really critically important things, which is to be present with what is, to show up, to keep showing up, to not drive, to pay attention to what's happening there. But I think another key thing is about paying attention to how we're positioned in society. So being aware of our own limits, being aware of our own stereotypes, our own baggage, our own limitations, like when something exceeds our own expertise. And as an educator, one of the things I say to students, which is kind of counterintuitive, is don't just do something, be there or stand there, because I kind of think we're in this mode of doing things to or for, and the challenge is to actually step back and say, how can I be useful? And to allow people to give you the answer in their own time, not in your time.
It's so true. I mean, I just read, I think it was yesterday, something very simple that said, we learn from listening, not from talking. I think that really speaks to that quite neatly.
Tasneem, one of the greatest quotes I've ever heard, Uncle Graham Moore on the Enduring Gudge country on the far south coast. He's probably the elder I've worked with for over 10 years and still remains a friend and a mentor. He told me, we've got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use them in that ratio.
There you go. Ruth, a question has been asked regarding the artistic work by Safdar in your presentation, and that was specifically, will these ever be presented in a gallery setting where people can walk through the story and reflect upon it?
Oh, that's a lovely idea. I love that. One of the things that I was trying to do by having it in The Guardian was to get more public engagement in research. But this idea is next level. Thank you very much. You've given me a gift. I really love this idea. I'm gonna look into that. Thank you so much.
It does seem intuitive. Why not? Absolutely.
And they're so beautiful too. I mean, they're so lovely, these images.
And just on that, I mean, the subjects of those images, what did the older people involved think about your project?
Oh, really mixed feelings. And I think one of the things is people were desperate to talk. So when we first contacted people, they'd say, yes, I'm ready to talk. I want to talk now. And part of our ethics was we wanted to give people time so they wouldn't feel pressured. So we'd ring them back and then they wouldn't want to talk. So I think this experience living through COVID was very emotional, and people wanted to kind of debrief, but it also depended, again, like Toby was saying, when they were ready and when they were in the mood. One of the things that we did find is that we were quite worried about people. So what we did was we built into the design that we would actually phone people back after the research and keep in touch and let them, just see how they were doing through lockdown.
That's lovely. And I can imagine as older people, they really appreciate that as well. It's respectful, isn't it? Look, thank you both for your sessions and for the Q&A part as well. I mean, I'm conscious that aside from the tech issues, Ruth, we got through it. There was so much rich cultural learnings in both of them, which I think will be really useful to reference. And I would point out to the delegates who've joined us that these sessions will be available for 12 months. You can just simply log on and access them. Everything has been recorded. So it's a great repository of skills and, I guess, cultural competence training material that you can draw upon. And again, thank you, Toby, thank you, Ruth, for joining us. And if, I guess, people can LinkedIn you or find you online if they want to, take this further and perhaps suggest some more ideas where you can showcase your artwork there, Ruth. So thank you very much to you both. Look, we are going to move into lunch. I know we've cut into a fraction of our lunchtime, but we do have half an hour of 26 minutes remaining until we resume the session again. So we'd love you to come back and join. We do have some exciting workshops, presentations, and a few things which are a bit left of center as well, to sort of provide light entertainment as far as online conferences allow. And we hope that you can be a part of that. But please give a virtual clap if you'd like for our first speakers today, Toby and Ruth. And we'll see you back all at 1:30. Thank you.